Reason number 4, why we should stretch. We're taught that it improves posture. Now, if I'm hunched over, we're taught that I need to stretch the front and strengthen the back. This must be tight, creating the knee to pull forward, and these must be weak, allowing for the knee to pull forward. Now again, kind of simple illustration. If you were hanging from the cliff, who would you rather have picking you up? The Incredible Hulk or Jim Carrey? If it's Jim Carrey, gravity's probably going to win and plummet you to your death, because he may not be strong enough to pull you back up to safety. But the Incredible Hulk, it doesn't matter how much you weigh, he's just going to flip you over. You want the strong muscles working because we are always presented in this field of gravity pushing us down. So you want the strong muscles. The body is going to put the strong muscles in a position that actually do the work as far as keeping you from falling forward. So picture this barrel-looking device, and it's got all these tubes surrounding it. So much like the spine here in the center, and these are your lats and your abs and your obliques, everything around the spine, around this core, trying to hold you up in this field of gravity. Now on this thing, if these are all pulled tight, and I've got these 6 muscles on this side, and the 6 muscles on the other side pulling evenly, in this situation, if this one doesn't work anymore, this side is not as strong, and it's going to allow this other side to pull it over. Well, the difference between this thing and this thing is this doesn't care if it falls over. We have been programmed to be upright since most of life has us in this upright position. So we are going to respond a little different than this. So gravity is pulling us down, and if I hold this handle in this position, gravity is parallel to this thing, and it's easy to hold up. But as soon as I start tilting forward, the center of mass goes forward more, and it creates more resistance on this handle. Now that I'm here, it has the maximal pull on this handle. So this bar weighs a lot more now. There's much more resistance being applied to this handle now than it is here. Same thing when I'm standing up. When I'm straight up, everything is pretty balanced. It's easy to hold up. When I start leaning forward or backward, well, now gravity is starting to pull down more, and I become heavier. So the body, if this side is weak, and I start leaning backward, like in the example of the barrel here, if I go to the strong side or high side, well, now that I get heavier, I now have the weaker muscles responsible for holding me up. So rather than the body putting the weak muscles in position to stabilize me, to support me, it may put the things that actually are working on top to hold me up in this field of gravity. So this slouch position may be a solution to these muscles not working versus being the tight ones and these being the weak ones. So just to take somebody and start forcing them to move, maybe taking away the body's very intelligent means of allowing them to continue to function in this field, in this law of gravity. So reason number 5 is to reduce or manage stress. Now, if you're stressed because you don't have enough money, how is stretching going to help that? If your boss is a pain or your child doesn't listen to you, how is stretching going to help you with this stress? Now, since the body does nothing for no reason, it has a reason for everything that it does, from a small scale to the large scale. You don't sneeze because you want to sneeze, you sneeze because there's something in there making you sneeze. You don't scratch because you want to, there's an itch and you want to scratch it. So scratching is not the problem, sneezing is not the problem, it's what's causing you to scratch or to sneeze. So tightness has a reason for being there, but the traditional efforts to prevent tightness via stretching, massage, icing, heating, wraps, medication, surgery, none of these address why it's tight. If you're not addressing why it's tight, the tightness will come back. Reason number 6, to reduce muscular tension and to enhance muscular relaxation. Now think about this. Would you go running or play a sport with loose shoelaces? Not in ties so they're flailing everywhere, but just loose. Why not? The shoelace is meant to hold the shoe on, to stabilize the shoe onto the foot so you don't slip. Yes, if it's too tight, it's going to prevent your motion. But if it's too loose, it's going to prevent your performance. The only job a muscle can do is to pull. It can only pull. This muscle will not push me down. In order for me to go down, it will either contract a little less or pull a little less to allow it to go down, or have the other muscles on the other side that will pull to straighten. The muscle's job is to hold you together and to prevent you from moving, to allow you to move, or to create motion. Its job is to hold you together. So why do you want a loose muscle or a loose ligament? So in the example of the tricep stretch, if the pec and the lat and other muscles here in this area were not working, when I go to stretch, if these are not working, what do you think would happen? If these are not working and I try to pull my arm backwards, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to try to dislocate. It's going to dislocate if they're not working. So if I'm pushing this bone backwards, that means this one's going this way. It's trying to create this. If I push the top this direction, and the bottom's going to go that way. So me trying to force this backwards is trying to force this forward. And if these guys are not working, then my shoulder will dislocate. Now in the exercise world, if I have this resistance pulling me down, we call this whole exercise. It's the bicep curl, or the elbow flexor challenge. So I have the biceps pulling to move this handle. Now, this muscle is either going to pull more than the resistance to create motion, pull a little less than the resistance to allow the motion, or pull just as much as the resistance to prevent motion. Either way, this resistance pulling me down with the efforts or the intentions of making this longer is making my bicep, my elbow flexors, actually work. So again, in the exercise world, the resistance trying to make my bicep longer, we expect it to work. And the effort is actually making it work. But in the stretching world, we have the same resistance trying to make a muscle longer. We now expect it to relax. Our efforts and our intentions now do not match. Our intentions of relaxing a muscle with the effort of making it work. So there's this internal tug of war going, this internal battle, which is what creates the need to actually be tight. Reason number 7, improves mechanical efficiency and overall functional performance. Now performance is typically about motion. Motion requires certain muscles to move you, certain muscles to allow motion, and then certain muscles to prevent unwanted motion. The stretching world is about getting the muscles that allow motion worse at not allowing motion. So again, yes, worse at not allowing motion. If this were better at not allowing, then it would move. So getting this muscle to let you move is actually making it weaker. The better a muscle is at moving you, the more it will let you move. And the shorter this muscle is on this side, the longer it will be on this side.